European car makers are whispering the same word this week: shut down. After new export restrictions tied to Nexperia chips surfaced, several OEMs privately warned they could halt lines within days if supplies don't clear. Now zoom out. City cars are disappearing, safety and emissions rules are making small cars uneconomical, and a wave of ultra-clean Chinese EVs is idling just offshore, ready to flood Europe at 12,000 to 16,000 euros. What if this isn't chaos, but design? Today, I'm laying out how the EU's policies and industry strategies line up to push ordinary Europeans into imported EVs by 2027. Whether you call it a plan or a perfect storm, the result is the same. Your next European car might be wearing a European badge, but built in China, priced in China, and powered by a supply chain Europe doesn't control. If you grew up in Europe, you know the ritual: the city car. Fiesta, Polo, Clio, 208, Corsa. Affordable, fixable, built nearby and everywhere. That segment gave millions a first car and kept family costs sane. Fast forward to today, models are cancelled. Replacement EVs start well above 20,000 euros, and small ICE cars are going extinct. At the same time, Europe is writing the most ambitious safety and emissions rulebook on Earth. On paper, that sounds like progress, but in practice, it blows up the business case for 14,000 euro hatchbacks. Add the fragile chip supply chain, where one export decision can freeze dozens of European factories, and you get the same outcome every time. Domestic small cars vanish, and the only way to keep prices low is to import. The timing isn't random. From 2025 to 2027, we hit a wall of deadlines: safety tech mandates, the next CO2 fleet targets, Euro 7 rollout for new types, battery regulation milestones, and digital requirements. Meanwhile, Chinese brands have perfected the sub 15,000 euro EV at home, locked up the battery materials, and are now building plants in the EU or shipping from Asia at a price our factories can't beat. The pieces fit a little too well. This video puts the puzzle together: the breaking chip story, the collapse of city cars, the tariff theater, the cheap EV wave, and how the average family becomes the test subjects for Europe's industrial reset in 2027. If you want fewer headlines and more receipts, real model lists, real price targets, and the exact deadlines that change your options, hit subscribe and ring the bell. I'll give you the actionable buys before the market shifts and the cars you want to go extinct. Let's start with this week's wildfire. A viral post claimed that after China restricted exports of chips linked to Nexperia, a Dutch-based Chinese-owned semiconductor maker, European auto plants warned they could halt production within days. Regardless of which line in that viral post is precise and which is sensational, the underlying reality is not in dispute. Europe's car industry is critically dependent on Asia for mature node semiconductors, the cheap, boring chips that run body controllers, airbags, pumps, thousands per car. Nexperia is one of the biggest suppliers of these blocks. European OEMs use them everywhere. When geopolitics flick a switch, export reviews, licensing delays, customs checks, just-in-time collapses. If you're the EU and you want combustion city cars to fade, and you need EVs to replace them, there's no faster accelerator than supply chain instability that makes incumbent models impossible to build profitably. Whether or not anyone orchestrated this, it helps the transition narrative. We can't build the old stuff, we can only build the new. This is the domino that knocks over everything else in the script. Fragile chips lead to production pauses, which lead to model cancellations, which then leads to import gaps, and finally, Chinese EVs step in. Pull up a symmetry map. In the last few years, Ford Fiesta, gone. Volkswagen Up, gone. Seat Mii and Skoda Citigo, gone. Opel Adam, gone. Peugeot 108 and Citroën C1, gone. Audi A1 retiring without a direct replacement. Renault Twingo, ICE dead, EV revival push to mid-decade with a new price reality. What replaced them? Crossovers you didn't ask for at prices you can't justify. Or EV concepts with a 25 to 30k price tag and 2026 to 2027 arrival dates. Ask any product planner off the record. Add mandatory safety tech, ISA, DMS, recorders, ADAS, plus stricter emissions hardware, plus cyber and software obligations. Then add wage inflation, energy costs, and interest rates. The math on a 14,000 euro ICE hatchback doesn't work. You either move the car up market or you kill it. Most brands chose to kill it. Every cancellation creates space in the market, space that doesn't sit empty for long. Yes, but Europe is slapping tariffs on Chinese EVs. Sure, theatre helps politics. Tariffs can slow a flood, but they can't stop one when Chinese EVs are starting from a much lower cost base due to battery cells, LFP chemistry, motor inverter expertise, and scale. Adding to that, some cars will be built inside of Europe, mainly Hungary, Spain, potentially Italy and Poland, neutralizing the tariff at birth. And finally, European groups themselves are partnering with Chinese tech, joint ventures and platform licensing, making it politically messy to ban your own supply partner. Tariffs can nudge a €12,000 EV to €14,000, but if the EU-built equivalent is €24,000, families will still cross the street. I keep hearing, they betrayed us. In boardroom language, it's simpler. Margin mix. Safety and emissions rules are fixed cost per car. The smaller the car, the less revenue to spread them over. Software and cybersecurity compliance are recurring costs. You want that amortized over high-margin SUVs and premium trims, not a €14,000 hatch. Dealers make more money on bigger cars with option packs. Finance arms love high residuals. Marketing loves step-up designs that push you into the €35,000 trim for a grille that doesn't look like sadness. The small car loses the internal war. We'll come back with a €25,000 EV is how that war gets rebranded. And here's the twist. Some of these same groups are entering tie-ups to sell Chinese-engineered small EVs in Europe under the European showrooms. You're buying local, except you're not. Let's talk products, not politics. In China, the BYD Seagull created a new benchmark, a city EV that undercuts everything on price while delivering good enough range for daily use. The Chinese domestic sticker has been seen around the equivalent of €9,000 to €11,000 depending on spec and subsidies. Export versions carry more kit and safety, so call it €12,000 to €16,000 coming into Europe even after adding compliance costs and a tariff. Is a Seagull class car a Polo? No. Is it enough for commutes, school runs and second car households at 1/3 of the cost of a European EV? Absolutely. And these aren't go-karts. LFP battery chemistry is robust, packs are mass-produced, electronics are integrated, and OTA software is standard. It's a use-case solution, not a dream car. This is the wedge product that breaks the dam. Once one brand proves a €12,000 to €16,000 EV can sell in Europe at volume, everyone recalibrates. And if European brands can't match that price, they'll do the most rational thing, rebadge it. Are you saying the EU wrote rules to help imports? I'm saying the effect of the rules does that, whether by design or by accident. Firstly, safety mandates. ISA, DMS, AEB, data recorder, lane systems. Safer roads, yes, but pricey to implement on tiny cars with thin margins. Secondly, Euro 7 phases and onboard monitoring. It's manageable on big cars, but painful on the cheapest ICE, pushing them out. Then, battery and supply chain due diligence. Great goals, but Europe currently doesn't control the mining and refining chain. China largely does. Compliance becomes easier when you buy from the dominant supplier, who are Chinese or China dependent. Lastly, software and cybersecurity frameworks. Necessary, but again, cost scale better on big, expensive cars. Net effect, you either go premium or you go foreign. For mass affordability, foreign wins on price. A modern car is a computer on wheels and a battery in a box. Europe presently leads in neither. Mature node semiconductors, or the unsexy chips. Europe imports vast quantities from Asia. The Nexperia episode proves how fragile that dependence is. Battery cells. Europe is building gigafactories, but China has the learning curve, the chemistry, and the refining choke points. Even when a pack is assembled in Poland or Germany, critical materials may have taken a tour through Chinese refineries. Electric motor inverters. China's scale has driven down the cost of permanent magnet machines and the rare earth supply web. So when policymakers say make EVs affordable, reality answers, buy from the people who can make them cheaply. That's not a conspiracy, it's a map. Here's how the 2027 reset dodges politics. Firstly, local assembly, global guts. A brand sets up final assembly in the EU, either Hungary, Spain, or Eastern Europe. Tariffs vanish. The bill of materials still flows from China. Battery models, infotainment, harnesses, semiconductors. The window sticker says made in the EU. The cost base says otherwise. Second, badged partnerships. A European brand signs a platform deal with a Chinese OEM. The car is engineered in Asia, tailored for EU regs, then sold in Europe by a household European name. You think you bought European, you bought global. Lastly, pricing pincer. Entry Chinese EVs launch at an impossible price, let's say €14,999 to anchor the segment. European brands cannot follow with domestic costs, so they either rebadge or exit. Either way, the consumer ends up in a Chinese supply chain. Remember, tariffs don't stop joint ventures, and Brussels can't block a European badge on a legal car assembled inside the single market. Let's time travel 18 to 24 months. Showroom reality. Your local dealer has 3 types of affordable new cars. 1. A small EV assembled in the EU with Chinese modules. 2. A Chinese brand with a European PR team. And 3. A used European ICE at inflated prices. Finance menus, subscription-style battery plans, aggressive 0 to 2.9% APR on the Chinese models because their cost base is so low that the importers can buy the sale. Servicing, independents adapt quickly. These cars are simpler to service than many premium EVs. Parts, the importer's European warehouse has pallets. Resale, initially uncertain for the new brands, but if they flood ride-hailing and fleets, the secondary market will normalize fast. Meanwhile, your once reliable pick of a new European city car under 18k is only available as used, and rising because families who don't want an EV are hoarding the last great small ICEs. Winners, Chinese manufacturers, volume, brand foothold, pricing power. European conglomerates with JV access, they sell you European, harvest finance profits, and quietly import the guts. Urban buyers who don't care about brands. A 14,000 to 16,000 euro EV with 250 to 300 kilometers WLTP and cheap running costs beat the bus. Losers. Domestic small car production. Fewer shifts, fewer models, fewer apprenticeships. Independent European suppliers of brakes, plastics and seats, squeezed by integrated Chinese supply chains. Buyers outside the city. Charging realities, winter range, and infrastructure patchiness make the cheapest EVs a harder sell if you commute 120 km per day in January. Compromises. EU policymakers will hail affordable green mobility while knowing the bill of materials is China dependent. OEMs will talk European jobs while moving value add up the stack. Software, branding, finance, and offshoring hardware. Whatever you believe about the plan, the outcomes are visible. Here's how you win anyway. 1. If you want to avoid a cheap EV in 2027, buy your last small ICE now. Target late-run Fiesta, Polo, Clio, Corsa, i20, i10, Swift with full histories. The depreciation curve is flattened. You'll lose less than you think, and values may rise for pristine manuals. Number 2. If you're EV curious but brand loyal, wait for the badge-engineered wave. You'll get a European badge on a Chinese cost platform with decent warranty. Let the first batch drop, then buy with fleet discounts and demo mileage. 3. If you just want the lowest total cost, be brand agnostic and go for the 12 to 16,000 euro Chinese entrance, but negotiate hard and demand 8-year battery warranty with capacity floor, heat pump for winter efficiency, Type 2 plus DC fast charge over 60 kilowatts, clear parts availability commitment in writing. Number 4. Protect yourself from supply shocks. Keep 2 key spares for any car you plan to run long, 12-volt battery and the most failure-prone sensor, MAP, MAF or ABS wheel speed, plus a basic OBD reader. Chips don't stop maintenance, they stop production. And number 5, watch these trigger dates. The next CO2 fleet target year, steps down ratchet pricing. Your country's grants or tax changes for EVs, any local assembly announcements, these lower prices in the market. You don't need a smoky room to explain what we're seeing. The EU wants cleaner fleets and safer roads. The cheapest way to hit those targets fast is to let the most efficient producers of cheap EVs, China, fill the gap while Europe concentrates on high-margin vehicles and software. Add a strategically fragile chip chain and ever-tightening rules, and the small ICE car self-deletes. Call it conspiracy, call it convenience, the effect is the same. If you're a nurse or a teacher who used to buy a 14k European hatchback, the system is nudging you towards a Chinese-sourced EV by 2027. Not because you choose it, but because every other path was quietly priced out or regulated out. Let's stitch the story. Breaking news proved the lever. One export decision in Europe's plants wobble. City cars? Disappearing, not because we stopped loving them, but because rules and margins killed them. Tariffs. Loud on TV, soft in showrooms when local assembly and partnerships make them moot. 12,000 euro EVs? Not a rumor, an inevitability. 2027, the year the showroom looks different. Familiar badges, unfamiliar supply chains. You are not powerless. You can buy early, hold longer, or take the deal on your terms with the right warranty and the right charging plan. But pretending the market will flip back to 2015 is fantasy. The reset is here. If you want me to do a buyer's guide for the last great European small ICEs and a comparison guide for the safe pick among the first wave of Chinese EVs, drop a comment with your budget and country. I'll build it around real on-the-ground prices and availability, not brochure fiction. Until then, guard your wallet, read the fine print, and never forget, the most powerful tool in this reset isn't a tariff or a chip, it's your choice. If this helped you see the board 2 moves ahead, subscribe and share this with someone who's shopping in 2026. The faster people learn the rules, the less they get forced.